You know, I only been to DC like twice now, and I have to fill up. It's like at the very bottom. Putting $2 in here, $2.40. And then reset, and we're off. I don't know what this is. Is this a Bentley? It's got to be, but it looks like a Mercedes. What is this garbage? Hey, this guy's from Ontario. That's crazy. What are you doing here, buddy? From Ontario. I wonder what it is. Oh, it's like a Bentley. It's a B or something. It's got carbon fiber stuff. I don't know what that is. This building, it's got like Joe, and then it's got like a Biden-Harris thing. Then there's an American flag with something. You know, this is the equivalent of bumper stickers on cars. I really like Tesla, but I cannot afford it. The Model 3 is accessible to people who have good jobs, but to people like me that are under the poverty line, there's no way you're going to get a Tesla. First of all, a lot of poor people like me live in apartments, so if you have an apartment, you're not going to be able to afford the Tesla. You know, there's no infrastructure to like charge it. Okay, buddy. If you can't charge it at home, I think a lot of electric cars are not not very good for you. When I had a zero electric motorcycle, charging it was such a pain in the ass. The electric motorcycle is not up to snuff. I can see the benefit of the car. At least you can wait inside the car while it's charging. But man, this zero, it's got a range of like 120, right? And every time I rode it, it was like 50. You know, if you ride it in any sort of kind of spirited condition, those electric bikes are just not good. And then consider that motorcyclists like to go into the countryside. And when you go to the countryside, there are no charging stations out in West Virginia, in the twisties. Charging stations are all in the city where riders really don't particularly like to ride. And I mean, in a way it's good. You know, they're in the cities and in the highways where, I don't know, maybe Harley Davidson with their live wire is better. But to me, I want a motorcycle for going on the weekends and riding around and having fun and going to the countryside. If I'm only gonna ride like at the speed I like for 50 miles, and then you're paying $15,000 for a motorcycle, it kind of defeats the purpose, you know. And if you're gonna get a bike as a commuter vehicle, which I think that's what the Zero is, it's like a good commuter vehicle, then you're overspending, because you can get a Honda SH150 like this for 2,000 bucks. You can ride it for years and never have any issue. I think the only reason people want an electric bike is for the expense of not spending on gas. But these scooters, they get like 90 something miles to the gallon, and they are extremely usable. So I can ride this for 200 miles and fill it up once, and that's a huge thing. But the problem with the electric bikes, unless they get the battery technology better and denser, and you get a good 250 miles on a charge, it's not going to appeal to the vast majority of riders. At least not riders like me that like to ride into the countryside. It just doesn't seem to be something that's even... What the hell? Quiet. Oh, I thought these guys were just stopped, but it was just the douche in the front, this Camry, that was on the phone. Watch, he's probably on the phone. You gotta be careful, he might switch lanes. Oh, he's alone, wearing a mask. Good for him. He's probably wearing a condom too. But the electric bike craze, I think electric bicycles are a much better idea than electric motorcycles, because the electric bicycles, and I am considering making a electric mountain bike, because that's a really good way of commuting. You have a range of like 30 miles. Oh, this guy needs to go. Very dangerous here. I'm here in P. That's my thing here. Creek Park, and I'm gonna go into this bathroom here. I like that DC is completely empty these days. Yeah, I really like the whole electric car, electric motorcycle thing, but the electric motorcycles are not there. They're just the battery technology does not meet the requirements for most motorcyclists. And you know, I've ridden with guys that own Zeros, and one guy was very offended that I told him that the actual real world range of the Zero DSR was actually lower than what he was saying. And I believe that 100 miles can be done, and I've done high mileage like that on the Zero, but it was all kind of like highway riding and just very slow riding in eco mode. Oh, look at this, a Honda Del Sol. Is this the same Del Sol? Yeah, this is the same Del Sol I saw the other over there. I love it. That's a nice car. Man, you don't see those things anymore. That's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to get one of those. And a Miata. Yeah, like the you got to be honest with the range of electric motorcycles, because it is lower, and people do not ride motorcycles like they do their cars. Like you see a lot of guys on Teslas, they're not like doing a lot of high-speed driving. I mean, those cars are fast, but the entire nature of motorcycles is that you kind of like go fast. You use the throttle as an on-off switch. You know, it's about having a little bit more fun. So you don't ride a motorcycle like you drive. That's why the electric Teslas, they're much better as commuter vehicles than the Zeros. Sure, if you have a short commute, the Zeros are great, but I don't particularly like them too much, just because the charging time. And if you don't have a commute, and you don't have a way to charge it at home, at least, you're not really going to enjoy that motorcycle as much as you would. So I think cars are much better to get as an electric car. Alright, I could lane split, but that bus. Now, I have seen electric scooters, and there's another electric scooter that I thought maybe I could fix the battery. It's called the Vectrix, and I've seen them for like $1,000, but their batteries are nickel cadmium batteries, and nobody uses those anymore. They use those batteries in the older Priuses, and they're good for that application, but they're heavy, they don't have a good range, and they do die. But those electric scooters, you can get them pretty cheap because their batteries die. Same thing with Nissan Leaf. The early Nissan Leafs, they have a major problem with their batteries. They degrade very easily. So if you're buying a Nissan Leaf, you got to look at the range it's capable of doing, because it does tell you it's like 10 or 12 bars, but a lot of them from that age have like 6 to 8 bars. And that limits you to like 50 miles of range. So of course you don't want to like be driving at 40, because you only have 10 left. So those early Nissan Leafs, you can get them for like $5,000 but I don't know anybody that really wants one of those. So, you know, I'd love to have an electric vehicle. I think the only one that I would consider is the Teslas. But even though Tesla's taken a page out of the Apple playbook by making things only accessible by them, I think people are getting smart. And it's kind of like what happened with the Priuses. You know, the Priuses, when they first started, they were too complex, and then people started to realize how simple the systems were. But I think Tesla makes a really good car, and I think they have everybody beat. And people should want them to succeed. You know, there's a lot of people that do not want Tesla to succeed for some reason. I don't think that's a good idea. Well guys, that's my thoughts on electric vehicles. I really enjoy the technology, even though I don't like technology in vehicles. Electric stuff seems to be very simple and a much better way of powering vehicles, but for motorcycles the technology is not there just yet. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next video. Bye.
I want to have a car that attracts a woman with a shave down below.